Nestled in the rolling hills of South Bohemia, Český Krumlov is one of Europe's most enchanting and well-preserved medieval towns. With its winding cobblestone streets, a dramatic Renaissance castle, and the serpentine Vltava River cutting through its heart, this UNESCO World Heritage Site feels like a page torn from a storybook. But beyond its picturesque beauty, Český Krumlov harbors strange legends, eccentric traditions, and a history that blends grandeur with the bizarre. A journey through time, the history of Český Krumlov. Medieval beginnings. Český Krumlov's history dates back to the 13th century, when the Vychovci family, later known as the Rosenbergs, established a fortress on a strategic bend of the Vltava River. The town grew around the castle, benefiting from trade routes and gold mining in the region. By the 14th century, the Rosenbergs had turned Český Krumlov into a cultural and political hub. The family's influence was so great that they rivaled the Bohemian kings. Their coat of arms, a 5-petaled red rose, still adorns buildings throughout the town. The eccentric reign of the Schwarzenbergs in the 17th century, the Rosenberg line died out, and the town passed to the Schwarzenberg family, one of Europe's most powerful aristocratic dynasties. They expanded the castle into a lavish Baroque residence but also introduced some of the town's strangest traditions, like keeping live bears in the castle moat, a practice that continues to this day. 20th century, from neglect to UNESCO fame. After World War II, Český Krumlov fell into disrepair under communist rule. Many historic buildings were neglected, and the town became a quiet backwater. However, after the Velvet Revolution, 1989, restoration efforts began, and in 1992, Český Krumlov was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, cementing its status as a cultural treasure. The castle, a labyrinth of legends. The BEAR MOAT, a 400-year-old tradition. One of the most bizarre features of Český Krumlov Castle is its BEAR MOAT. Since the 16th century, bears have been kept in the dry moat below the castle walls. Originally a symbol of the Rosenberg family's ties to Italian nobility, the Orsini family, whose name means little bear, the tradition continues with 3 resident bears, named Maria, Arnica, and Hubert, cared for by the town. The Mask Hall and Baroque theater inside the castle. The Mask Hall is a surreal ballroom decorated with eerie frescoes of carnival figures. Even stranger is the Baroque theater, one of the best preserved in the world. Built in 1682, it still uses original stage machinery, including trapdoors and wind effects for ghostly performances. The Castle Tower, a climb into the past. The castle's colorful cylindrical tower offers panoramic views of the town. Legend says that if you touch the stone face carved into its wall, you will return to Český Krumlov one day. The Old Town, a maze of myths and mysteries. The curved streets and hidden alleys. Český Krumlov's Old Town is a maze of narrow, winding streets, designed to confuse invaders. Some alleys lead to dead ends, while others open suddenly into charming squares. The most famous street, Latran, is lined with Gothic and Renaissance houses, some leaning precariously over the river. The ghosts of Český Krumlov. Like any medieval town, Český Krumlov has its share of ghosts. The White Lady, a benevolent spirit linked to the Rosenberg family, said to appear before joyous events. The Headless Knight, a spectral figure haunting the castle corridors. The Drowning Maiden, a ghostly woman seen near the river, luring drunkards to their doom. The Egon Schiele connection. In the early 20th century, the controversial Austrian painter Egon Schiele lived in Český Krumlov. His mother was from the town, but his provocative art scandalized locals, forcing him to leave. Today, the Egon Schiele Art Centrum celebrates his work. Strange festivals and traditions. The 5-petaled rose festival. Every June, the town transforms into a medieval carnival for the 5-petaled rose festival. Locals dress in Renaissance costumes, knights joust in the streets, and the town celebrates its Rosenberg heritage with feasts and music. The Floating Theater. One of the quirkiest events is the Floating Theater, where performances take place on a stage built over the Vltava River. Audience members watch from boats or the riverbanks. Christmas in a fairy tale in winter, Český Krumlov becomes a snow-dusted wonderland, with markets, carolers, and a living nativity scene featuring real animals. Why visit Český Krumlov? Český Krumlov is more than just a pretty postcard, it's a town where history, myth, and eccentricity blend seamlessly. Whether you're exploring its haunted castle, drinking local beer in a medieval tavern, or paddling down the Vltava River, the town casts a spell that lingers long after you leave. Final thought, a living fairy tale. Few places in Europe feel as timeless as Český Krumlov. It's a town where bears guard a castle, ghosts roam the streets, and every corner hides a story. If you ever dream of stepping into a fairy tale, this is the place.